Hey, Tomko here. Today we're doing back training at home. How do you train your back? How do you maximize your back training when you're at home with very limited equipment? Let's get started. So now next up we got back workouts. So for the back workouts, again, hopefully you got some dumbbells at home that we can use. If you do, one of the best back workouts all around is just the bent over, in this case, dumbbell row. So with this, you're coming down. The most important thing when you're doing like a good dumbbell row is making sure that you don't hurt yourself. And to make sure that you don't hurt yourself, you wanna make sure that you're not just bending over like this and doing rows here. You gotta make sure that you really engage your core. So when I'm bending over, my butt's coming out, my core is nice and tight, my chest is out, and then this is my starting position. So everything's nice and tight, chest is out, butt is out, and I'm not rounding my back. I'm keeping everything nice and arched. So you're coming down, and it looks kind of weird, but you almost want to take a deep breath and expand out. When you expand out your air in your stomach, you're more stable. If I exhale all my oxygen and my waist gets real small, I become less stable, and you might actually do more damage to your back. So it might look weird, it might look like you have a bigger gut when you're doing this, but it's to create more stability, and that's what's really important if you want to keep your back safe. So you're coming down, your butt's coming out, chest is out, and then squeezing back, squeezing back. Control the way down. You're not going super fast. Controlled, controlled from the front. Controlling, controlling. If you want to go heavier, you want to put all your weights onto one dumbbell. You can always support yourself on your knee, either with your elbow or your hand, and you're just coming back. Just coming down, controlled, squeezing back. Now, depending where you pull the dumbbell to is going to determine where on your back you're working out. If you're pulling down to your waist, nice and low, you're going to be working out your lats muscle. So your lats going to be the big V-shaped muscle that from the front almost makes you kind of look wider. If you're coming up higher, instead of coming down nice and low, you're coming up higher. You're going to be working more your rear deltoid, the back part of your shoulder, and also more your upper back, your upper middle back. So it's not one's right, one's wrong. It's just different areas of your back that you're working. So just be aware of that when you're doing a row. And maybe do 3 sets to work your lats, nice and low, and then do 2 more sets at the end and come up higher. So say that you don't have any weights at home and you're trying to do a back rowing movement. Well, as I talked about in some of my other videos, if you have a bag at home, you can put things in your bag that are heavy. I'm using water bottles in this one. If you have any weight plates, you can throw dumbbells in here. You can really load up these bags. I put 70+ pounds in these bags before. They're very sturdy. And you can either do a row, if it's touching the ground, you can always wrap your hand down here and do a row here. If you have a backpack, same thing. Maybe you don't have a strong canvas bag. Maybe you have a backpack instead. A lot of us have backpacks at home. Same thing. Load that bag up. And you can load up and do those same rowing movements. Or I went into my backyard. I got these 5-gallon buckets, threw in a bunch of rocks that we have from our backyard, and what do you know? Now I have these nice buckets full of rocks, and I can do the same exact things. Again, the main thing to keep in mind is staying injury-free. So I'm still coming down, chest is out, my butt is out, keeping everything tight, and from there, rowing back. Rowing back. Nice controlled. Good squeeze. No using momentum at all. You can use one at a time if you want. Really set yourself up. Rolling down, rolling back. So you got a lot of variations for the row. Now the next big exercise that you can do for your back, other than like a rowing movement, is some kind of pulling down movement. Now there's a couple options for that. The main one that you can do, if you can, is to do a pull-up. So I have a pull-up bar here set up in my door frame. Now, for anyone that's tried to pull up before, pull-ups are not easy. I mean, I started working out back in 7th grade because I couldn't even do one legit pull-up, like not even one. So pull-ups have never been easy for me. But if you can do a pull-up, it is hands down the best back movement that you can do, even better than a row, because it's so difficult, so challenging, and really gives your body that V taper, that nice tight, smaller waist, give you that broad back. A couple things to keep in mind with pull-ups. One is your grip. You can do a normal grip. This is kind of a narrow setup because I have a narrow door frame, and just normally I like to go a little bit wider with my grip. In this case, my normal grip would be right here, as wide as I can go. And I just be going from here, from a dead hang, and coming up, coming down, coming up, coming down. There's no need to get your chin above the bar. You see sometimes in, I don't know if it's like military academies or like pull-up competitions, when it doesn't count unless you get your chin above the bar. Depends what your goals are, right? If you're trying to compete in some kind of, world record pull-up contest, yeah, it makes sense. But if you're really trying to isolate your back, you want to keep the tension on the back. So that means you're just coming down with your elbows until your lats are fully engaged. To go even further above that normally means engaging your arms and taking stress off your back. So you notice when I'm doing pull-ups, I'm coming down about right here, so my lats are still engaged. I'm not coming down full extension, because full extension, my lats are stretched out, but they're relaxed, they're not engaged. So I'm coming down right here, and I come up about 80% of the way up. Another grip that you can use, say you have like an injury on your forearm, this grip may be painful for you. So you can flip it around so that your palms are facing you, and it's almost like a chin up. Doing this, you're engaging your biceps a little bit more, but you take off all the strain on the top part of your forearm. So you're right here, chest is up as always, you're looking up slightly, and then you're just coming up, control down, coming up, control down, and do pull-ups that way. Now the third variation of pull-up, if your door frame's wide enough, is you can do directly under a pull-up and do like a mixed grip pull-up. So you're coming down right beneath. See if I can do it. This is kind of a small door frame, but your hands, you can either go this way or this way, whatever's comfortable for you. You're hanging down right below. This is kind of small. And you're just coming to the side, or coming to this side and coming around. So there's kind of 3 different variations. My personal preference is to always do like a chin up version, especially when the doorways is so small. It feels weird for me to go this way. Sometimes I feel a little tightness in my upper forearm. So I always do a chin up version right here, chest up, squeeze up, coming down. Now, if you can't do a pull-up, and again, pull-ups are very hard, so if you can't do a full pull-up, don't feel bad about it. It took a lot of work for me to get good or better at pull-ups. You can always do like a weighted kind of static hold on a pull-up. So if you can't do a pull-up where you're coming up and down, you can always time yourself doing a pull-up and just holding it. So right here, and just see how long you can hold up here. Doing this is easier than doing a pull-up, but it's still very challenging, very difficult. And just try to beat your time. Maybe you can do 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. It's another way to challenge your back muscles. The last back movement that I want to show you is more of an isolation movement. So I showed you the rowing movement. I showed you a pull-up movement. The last one is more of an isolation movement for the lats. If you're in the gym, you're doing something called like a dumbbell pullover, where you're bent over, on a bench, and you have a dumbbell and you're coming up and over. Or you might have like a rope or a straight bar and you're doing like a pull down. And it's a very isolating movement that isolates the lats. We can do that same movement at home using dumbbells. So if you have some light dumbbells, you don't need to go too heavy. Same thing, chest is out, butt is out, bent over nice and tight, and you bring these dumbbells straight back. Controlled, straight back, controlled, straight back. And this is a way to isolate your lats. It's not as good as using a row, because a row you can use more weight, you can get more muscle activity going, but this is a great finisher move. All right, that's it for this training video on training your back when you're at home. Again, I know for most people the basic pull-up is a very challenging exercise. I know for me personally, I started my fitness journey because in 7th grade, we had to do a presidential fitness testing here in the States, and you had to do pull-ups, as many pull-ups as possible. I couldn't do a single pull-up, and I got so embarrassed. That's what started my whole fitness journey to begin with. So if you can't do a pull-up, don't feel bad about it. If you have your own story about doing pull-ups, let me know in the comment section below. If you haven't yet, check out my other training videos on training all the different muscle groups when you're at home, and I'll see you guys in the next video.